Welcome back to Fantastic Forests with Miss Liberty. Today we're going to be having a look at mushrooms. So we're going to be looking at a couple of different kinds of mushrooms today. All of these mushrooms have some kind of link to some of the trees that we've been learning about in our Fantastic Forest series. The first mushroom we're going to be looking at is the blusher mushroom. Now, this is a mushroom that grows near our oak trees. So again, if you forgot what our oak trees look like, you can go back and check. But they normally grow on dead or decomposing oak trees that may be branches that have fallen off of old oak trees. They're normally this kind of reddish brown color, and they have these small white marks, almost these bumps on top, so you can find them. The stem is quite thick, so it can support the cap of the mushroom. So if you go out in the forest, you find one of these mushrooms or a mushroom that looks similar, you can identify your oak tree and you can find your mushroom all together. Next, we're going to have a look at the pine cone cap mushroom. Now, I think you can all guess where this grows. It grows near decaying pine cones. So where you've had a pine tree that has dropped its cones on the floor, these mushrooms will start to grow. They're usually very tall, so they're quite slim compared to a lot of mushrooms. So their stems are very long. They have a rather small cap compared to the rest of the mushroom. And they're normally very light in color. They're normally about a white or a kind of very light gray. And they become a little bit darker as they get older. So next time you're out walking in the forest and you're near a pine tree, have a look to see if you can find any pine cone cap mushrooms. Now we're going to be looking at a little bit of a special mushroom, which is the King Alfred's cake mushroom. Now you can see it here on the side. It almost looks just like a kind of black ball of mushroom. Now these grow on decaying ashwood. So ashwood, remember, that was the tree that we saw in one of our last videos. We were saying it was the kind of perfect tree, that it's all very symmetrical. So when we find an ash tree, you should have a look around near the dead branches to see if you can find any of King Alfred's cake. Now this is a special kind of mushroom as it does not have a stem. All of the components of the mushroom are still there. So it still has its gills, it still has its spores, it still has the mycelium linking it to the tree, but it doesn't actually have a stem. So it's a very special kind of mushroom if you're able to find it. Now, the last mushroom we're going to be looking at is the Birch Polypore. Now this is a special kind of mushroom, again a little bit similar to the King Alfred's cake mushroom, that it doesn't have a stem. It grows on the side of birch trees this time. Remember our silver birch trees that are white and easy for us to identify? We can find these special mushrooms that come growing out of the sides of the trees. They look a little bit maybe like a shelf or a balcony coming off of the tree, so they're quite easy for us to find and identify. Okay, that's it for our types of mushrooms today. That's a few examples that you can look for when you're out in the woods, looking at some of the trees that we've been identifying recently. Keep an eye open, see if maybe you can identify some of the mushrooms as well. Although when you're out, please make sure that you're not touching any mushrooms. Some of them can be extremely toxic, so maybe make sure you look with your eyes and don't touch anything. If you do end up touching things, make sure you wash your hands as soon as you can. Now, if you are enjoying our Fantastic Forest series, we are almost at an end, but do subscribe so you don't miss the last few videos. If you have missed anything so far, go check out some of the videos that were posted a little bit earlier. And if you've learned something from our Fantastic Forest series all about mushrooms today, please leave a like so we can see how the Fantastic Forest series is helping everyone learn about local forests. See you next time.